Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Brighton podcast, brought to you by the Global Sports Podcast Network. It's sad times on the pods. I'm joined by Blessed Shabamba. How are you, sir?
Yeah, good. I mean, miserable weekend.
Yeah.
Miserable weather. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Well, we're lost for words over here because we are here to react to our 1-0 loss at home to Everton. I don't even know where to start, to be honest. Bless, what were your just overall thoughts? I'll take that first.
I think initially going into the game, I'm always a bit worried, especially with a team with a new manager. And especially because last time we beat them, first game of the season, we beat them.
Yeah. And
me, you and Jamie, I'm not going to lie, we gave it the big one. I feel like karma's come round again to us. So going into it, I was expecting a tough game, but I was expecting us to win, really, because we're at home. But it wasn't meant to be. Really disappointing, to be honest.
Yeah, mate, it was... I don't even know. This is the thing. So, like, I think this might be one of the first times that we've come on here, and I generally, like, the game was so boring. We don't really have much to actually speak about. So I don't even know if I could give you segments for this because are we going to talk about the penalty for X amount of time? Probably not. Like, I could tell you about stats for X amount of time, but I think what we should do is we should probably start with the penalty. So the ball's been sort of, is like being played down the channel and Veltman's trying to like see it out, but he's got two man on him. And he's dolphin dived like it was Black Ops 2, mate. And I mean, I love Joel Melton, mate, but like you can't get away with this, mate. Like you've actually clawed the ball out. I mean, if he just went, we were saying before we come on that if he's just like fallen and like sort of just like his arms are just naturally sort of hit the ball, then like, I mean, you could probably be like, nah, but he just looks like he's like, because he thinks he's going to lose the ball and they're going to go and score. He's just like clawed at it like a little bit to like make sure he thinks I'm falling over. If I hit it, then the referee's not going to give it. And he's just giving it. But what were your thoughts, Bless, on that?
Yeah, the exact same as you, because I think that if he just fell and didn't even try and touch the ball, the referee normally gives them. I'm not going to lie, because he sort of is being sandwiched by two players, but it's the sort of panic. You can sort of see the panic in his face. You can see the panic just of the situation, and then the claw is so obvious. He's literally like just, do you know what I mean? Clawed it away. Like, you know, I wonder. I'm like, has he actually done that on purpose, or is it just like just an instinctive thing, like in that moment, or is he like just from the panic? He's just done it. It's like, this is what I need to do to get it away, but. Yeah, it's a strange situation and a little bit of a surprise because he's a very experienced player and we know that he does love all the...
tomfoolery.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Joe. He does love all of that and he gets involved a bit, but that was silly and ultimately he's cost us some points, to be honest.
Yeah. And then the penalty was dispatched by Iliman Ndiaye, who is a very, very good player, actually. I think in that team, I can't even cuss them out because they've just beaten us at home. But in that team, I think they have a couple of players here and there, but I think he's one of the standout ones. And then, of course, he's wheeled away and he started flapping his wings like a seagull in front of the fans. And to be fair, he got booked for it. I think that's ridiculous because I've just seen before the game, before we come on, I just seen Jamie Vardy point to the Premier League badge and then point at saying that they've got 1 to the away fans, and they point at the home fans and say they've got 0. And like, I feel like if that's inciting the fans to like be angry, then Jamie Vardy is like the king of that. And he didn't get booked for it, I don't think. So yeah, it was. I mean, that tells you all you need to know. That's basically the whole game that I've just explained to you in pretty much. Like, there's not much. We had 16 shots. They had 3, and we both had 1 shot on target. Like, and I think I take it that the penalty counts for the shot on target. So, yeah. I mean, they've created 2 chances in open play, and neither of them were on target. But then we've created 16, and only 1 of them was on target. Like, we had less XG than them, and most of their XG must have been for the penalty, because I imagine that counts from that as well. And after, in a sec, we're gonna go to a quick break. But what we're gonna talk about in the sort of next segment is sort of like, where do we go from here? Because Hertzler did actually get a lot of stick for his sort of team selection, and I'm just going to sort of bless his brain as to what he was thinking, to be honest with you, because he does get a lot of stick for his team selections most weeks, to be fair, on social media. But again, it's just that we've played against a team who I think all the players think they're better than that, and then we've ended up paying the price again, and it's been a little bit of a theme throughout the whole season. But yeah, we're going to go to a quick break, and then when we come back, we are going to talk about that. So we will see you after this ad. This podcast is brought to you by the Global Sports Podcast Network, the only network bringing you exclusive daily news and views on your Premier League team, the Premier League as a whole, women's football, and fantasy football. A unique listening experience that puts fans first, bringing you the very latest breaking news from your team. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and make us your first listen every day. Global Sports Podcast Network. Every club, every day. And we are back. It's Review Monday, and we're talking about an absolute hooner of a game. Brighton 0, Everton 1. Illiman died penalty, as we spoke about on the top of the show. Bless. There's a couple of things I want to sort of throw over to you here, and this has split opinion actually on social media. So Minthe has been performing really well over the last few game weeks. I don't know if he was left out of the squad entirely or if he was benched. I can't remember, but the reason for this was apparently because of lateness. So, where do you stand? Because loads of fans think it's petty from Hertzler. I'm just curious to see where you stand on it, and then I will obviously tell you how I stand, where you stand. I want to see if we agree or not.
Yeah, that's quite interesting, to be honest, because I wasn't aware that there's that going on. In my head, I've been sat at home thinking, why is he not starting Minthe? To be honest, I think it all depends on how late he actually is. Like, obviously, if he's, very, very late, you have to make a point of it. You have to sort of let the whole squad know that that's not okay. But with that being said, just the timing is so bad because he's just picked up some form. He was on the score sheet in our last game. Like, we sort of need to get kicking on. Like, Everton at home is a winnable game.
Mm-hmm.
To then just randomly put Gruder in, yeah, it's not great. But I think I stand with the manager. I think if you're late to a game, there's got to be some sort of punishment. I think otherwise it builds the wrong culture around the team, and people will just turn up whenever they want, and that would be carnage.
Yeah, 100%.
It sounds like a boring cop-out answer, but I think I stick with the manager with this one.
Yeah, 100%. Do you know what? I'm actually going to agree with you because I believe that the reaction to him not playing is very dependent on the result of the game. And because we lost a game and it's a game that we should be winning on paper, I feel like that sort of automatically, the sort of first thing you do in this situation is who do we blame? That's what most fans do, right? They sort of go, who do we blame for not winning this game? What for this result? Where's the scapegoat? I feel like a lot of times this season, Hurzel has been the scapegoat for a lot. Don't get me wrong, I don't agree with quite a lot the chopping and changing all the time. Like, I understand injuries play a part, but like I feel like he's chopped and changed quite a lot, especially with the wide players, bar Matoma, and with the midfield pairing and the fullbacks as well. And I just think that, again, if he's late and if you have a set time, it's his job. Do you know what I mean? Like, turn up on time. Like, unless there was, I think if there was a crazy reason why he was late, then that would probably be let off. But there obviously wasn't, or he didn't have one. So you can't set the precedent of like, oh, he was late by like 10 minutes. Like, it's calm. But because, again, like you said, obviously that then says to everyone else, oh, we could be late whenever. But like, for me, it's just a thing of like, you need to be able to set the tone, show that there's respect that needs to be done. I can't go to work tomorrow 10 minutes late. Obviously, I'm not going to get benched from what I do. Do you know what I mean? But like, you don't turn up to your work late. Like, obviously, I know some people do whatever, but like, you're not supposed to do that. Do you know what I mean? You know, we both know that we're not supposed to do that. He knows that he's supposed to be at a certain place at a certain time. Also, he gets paid a ton of money. So, mate, you tell me to be there, I'll be half an hour early for the amount of money that they get paid. I know it's such a stupid thing to say, because obviously it's football, they earn so much money, whatever. But like, I mean, when you're in a good run of form, you finally start getting the starts, and then you know you're doing something that you know is gonna like have a negative effect on that. I don't know why you'd put yourself in that situation. So I 100% stand by the decision, because I just feel like if we've gone on to win that game, I feel like people just go, well, okay, and then they just move on to the next thing. But at the same time, now we've lost the game, people are just like, oh, who's to blame for this? Oh, Hurzel, what are you doing? Sort of thing. But I did actually want to, I wanted to come to you anyway about this sort of these issues that we've been having against the so-called smaller teams, and also sort of the like, where do we actually go from here? Like, how do we stop these results from happening? Because so far, I think off the top of my head, Ipswich, Southampton, Leicester. So all the promoted teams, we've dropped points to so far, right?
Yeah.
Well, I know we beat Leicester, but we drew to them. No, we beat Ipswich, but we drew to them in the first game. We drew with Leicester, and we drew with Southampton. So we've beaten Everton away, and then we've lost to Everton, and they're in the sort of relegation area.
Drew to Wolves as well.
Yeah, drew to Wolves. So all of those teams that's the bottom 5 teams, isn't it? Right. So what do you think is going on there?
I think, to be honest, you've got to remember that this side is still quite young, and the manager's young as well. Obviously not an excuse, but just like a sort of determining factor. Like, it's a young team, new manager, new league for him. There will be spells where like the inexperience sort of comes through, and I think yesterday's game, that's exactly what we saw, to be honest. And David Moyes, you know, he's just returned. We like to play good football, and you know, he's probably gone in there, sort of planned and devised something to stop that. So the way I see it, we got moist. It's one of them. Like, if you one shot on target, they've not really created anything else after that penalty. They've defended deep. They've defended bravely. Pickford's just pinging it over. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is a typical Moyes performance, and we just did not have enough experience, enough sort of know-how to combat that. Hertz has made his changes a little bit too late as well. I know Ruta came on at the half-time, I think, but some of the other ones, I know Minthe, obviously the things going on, but I still would have got him on a bit earlier than the 74th. Yeah, it's just, I think initially when I saw the result, I was frustrated. But then in the long run, if you look at it, we're going to get games like that the way it is at the moment.
Yeah.
So I think we take it on the chin. Hopefully there is something we can build on from it and actually learn something from it and how to sort of combat these sides. But yeah, in terms of experience, they had much more established Premier League players in their lineup than we did. We had the better team, but they've got, players that have been around for 5-10 years in there. They know how to do it.
Yeah, 100%. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this section. And then, because I'm not going to lie, this game is making me, this podcast, I'm trying to cut from this podcast because this is not a game that I want to be talking about, honestly. It honestly was just, it was so like just devoid of anything. And it's just, when you do what we do, it's like, it's very much like we want like loads of talking points, but like we're sort of, I find that when it's like these sort of games and this sort of result, and we've actually been quite hard to beat this season, to be fair. So, like when it's these sort of results, it's against again a lesser team. I don't even know if you could say that because it's the bottom 5 teams in the league. I feel like it's just there's only so much we can say it, but like when you say it, we're also thinking like, well, it will get better, but it hasn't really. So anyway, in the last segment, I'm going to be picking Bless's brain sort of about where we go forward from here and sort of what our expectations are like for the rest of the season. Should we be changing them? And what we can do to maybe sort of change that for ourselves. So I will see you after this short break where you will hear from our partners at Zencastr. Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr. And we are back, and I have some breaking news, which has literally just happened now. We are going to be introducing a fine system for our podcasters. I mean, there's only 3 of us, but we have just got word through. Bless, would you actually like to break the news? Because we just got word through. I don't know if you've seen
I'm
the
not
chat.
actually seeing it.
Oh, you've not seen the chat. So I just got a message from Mr. the General Jamie G, who recently celebrated a birthday. So big ups to him, but also what a wassy. He has.
No, I just read it.
Yeah, so he's just informed us. We were waiting for him for ages. We were supposed to film half an hour before we did, and he's just told us that he's just woken up, which is so peak. Is a direct quote. So we are going to be introducing a fine which goes directly into my bank account, and then I'll half it with you, Bless. And then by the end of the season, hopefully we have a kitty, so we can. I don't know. What we're going to do with it? Something to beat up Guerra, I guess. That's the only thing I can think of, to be honest. Yeah. Anyway, final segment. We are going to be talking about sort of going forward now because I feel like we might need a little bit of a rejig of our expectations. I have in my mind what I think our expectations should be. Bless, I'm going to sort of throw some facts at you, but what do you think our expectations should be going forward now? So currently we sit 9th, 3 points behind Aston Villa.
Yeah, I think it's sort of becoming. I'm sort of getting a similar feeling like I did last season, that the season slowly is becoming meaningless in terms of we are not fighting for anything at all. So I don't want it to go down that route. Obviously, I'm pretty confident we'll be safe, but also...
What, from relegation?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, we're 9th, bro.
I'm just saying, it's either you're fighting for relegation and your season's not exciting, but at least there's something going on, or you're fighting for the European places.
Or you're Crystal Palace.
Or you're Palace, yeah. You're just there.
Yeah.
But, we don't want to be in that space like Crystal Palace. That's a really good example, actually, where you're safe, your season is just meaningless by like February.
Put the 13th place in the bag, bro.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's getting that kind of feeling. I really want us to kick on. I think we're still in the cups as well. There's something to play for in the cups, the cup, FA Cup. There's something to play for there. We're at home to Chelsea. With their form as well, you just, it could happen. We could do that. But yeah, that's my worry. We need to really kick on and carry on making this exciting, because the season can't be feeling like this, and it's not even February yet.
Yeah, definitely. I think that at the start of the season, I couldn't believe people saying that they think we could go down. Dom, who's on the Daily Bournemouth podcast, said that he thinks we could go down.
You said we can get fourth, so
yeah, but at the time, like, we're flying. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was spitting bars, mate. But like,
yeah, really.
well, not now, but like at the time, I was spitting bars. But like, for me, I think that Europe is still achievable. It just depends on what flavour of Europe we're going for here. So we're not going to be going to Milan and then, man. We're looking more at
Astana,
Sheriff and all them, man. Like, we're talking about not even Karabag, probably Europa League, man.
Yeah, I think so, actually.
Yeah, like Red Star, maybe. I don't know. Like, we're talking about where we're going. It's not going to be hot, nice weather. It's going to be freezing, and there's probably going to be flares and some stuff like that cutting about. This is the sort of flavour that we're going to go for, I think. But the thing about the Conference League is that I feel like if we get into the Conference League, you would probably go into it being in the. I mean, how many teams in that weird league phase now? Like 30, 32?
Yeah, 32, yeah.
32 or something like that, yeah. So, like, I think in the Conference League, you got to be looking at, and it's the top 24 that go through. I think you got to be looking at that, like 1 to 8 or 1 to 8, like automatics. I think you got to be looking at that if we're in the Conference League. Europa League's a bit of a different story. But yeah, I just think that should still be the aim. And also for the players, I mean, Europe surely has to be the aim. I don't know how players feel about the Conference League, because obviously it's a new thing, but any sort of aspiring, like, player with any sort of aspiration would always want to do that. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, that's the hope. And I think the two teams above us are Bournemouth and Aston Villa and Bournemouth in 8th and 7th. Aston Villa more likely to catch up to, because Bournemouth are flying. But I think Bournemouth play Liverpool next. I don't know who Aston Villa play next, but they have literally, I think they've just drawn. So, you know what I mean? So, like, I feel like if we can get a good run, then there's. But when it comes to sort of like that running of like the last 5 games, I'd like for it to be a race to try and get into those positions at that point. And like you said, I wouldn't want to see like us in that sort of place where we're on the beach already, sort of thing. Because like some of them man don't deserve the holiday, to be honest. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Anyway, guys, let me know where you think we should be at the end of the season. Let us know what you think about the Veltman red card. Let us know what you think about Minthe being absent from the team because he couldn't tell time properly. And we will see you on a Wildcard Wednesday. So thank you for listening. Peace out.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.